You feel yourself going deeper and deeper.
Jenny Green is an eminently sensible and stable woman, a housewife and mother living in the quiet suburbia of Sydney, Australia. There was no reason for us or her to suspect what was going to happen when she was in trance before our camera. And what did happen surprised and disturbed us all.
Fräulein, hier Frau sieht der Vater. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Suddenly she had taken us back only a short time, only 40 years, and to Nazi Germany, to a time when, as a teenage girl, the terror had struck her family.
Now you remember very, very clearly where you were born.
Großstadt. In the flat above my father's shop.
What town is that in? What city?
In Düsseldorf.
And what was your name in that life?
Dorothy Hellman.
And what was your father's name in that life?
Joseph Hellman.
Your mother's name?
Sarah Hellman.
You'd be able to go into deeper.
Once Jenny had led us onto this new and unexpected track we had to follow. We brought in a German interpreter, and our first attempt to talk to Jenny in German led her to break out of her trance at once in a mixture of fear and anger. The Hellman family of Düsseldorf had been Jewish.
I'm going to get the girl to talk to you again. So I'd like you to either answer her or tell me that you can hear her.
Wie heißt du? Kannst du Deutsch verstehen?
Filter Brunter.
Was hast du gesagt?
De hout rast daar. Nu komt die hörste ween. Nu probeert de nein. Noos de krielmolede. Wees na.
The language meant nothing to our German interpreter, or to us, or to the university linguistics experts who heard it. But it seemed to carry the sound of danger, and there'd been enough of that in the other life in Jenny's mind.
They were taking us to a village for Jews to live in.
What was the village?
Often. We cooked.
What was that?
We cooked. And cleaned. You washed clothes. They were the clothes of people who'd been and gone. They told us they'd taken them somewhere else. But they wouldn't leave their clothes. My friend Frida, she just asked why the clothes kept coming. They beat her. They made us all watch while they beat her and kicked her. And we weren't to ask questions, we were just to walk. Wouldn't let us help her. She just died. She just died in the dirt and they wouldn't let us help her.
You're coming away from that. You're coming away from that.
The depth of Jenny's emotion was all too apparent. In what she was saying, there was all the horror of the Holocaust, and we were all affected by it. It took a little while for Peter Ramsder to quieten her again, to be sure she was deep in trance. And then we looked for a way back into some less harrowing part of that past life.
Deeper and deeper into
Jenny had said she had lived in Düsseldorf. She had a tourist map of the city.
the main interest.
She was told that, still in trance, she would be able to see and read the map clearly
The Rhine.
and point out to us exactly where her family's house and shop had stood.
Be able to show me on the map where it is you live. Once you're deep enough to stay in trance, I want you just to open your eyes and look at the map and tell me where you live.
Großstadt, Rhein, Rheinhof Square, Rheinhaus, a school, puppet shop.
Let yourself relax now. Let yourself relax. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Just let yourself relax. Just let yourself relax. Just let yourself relax. After I wake you up, you're going to remember that map very clearly. Everything you showed me, you'll remember very clearly. Where you lived on the map, you'll remember very clearly. You remember it awake as well as you do asleep. Once I wake you up, I want you to show me on the map where it was that you lived. Waking up 1, waking up 2, 3. How do you feel? All right? Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Okay, show me on the map.
I can't see. I've got my glasses on.
You can't see it because you haven't got your glasses on. Hey, just hang on a second, we'll get your glasses. Where's the glasses?
Over there. Here.
It's tremendous. Can you remember when you were under trance, when you looked at the map?
Mm-hmm.
Could you see it clearly?
Mm-hmm.
Right, you could. Under trance, you could see it clearly without your glasses. When we woke you up, we had to give you the glasses.
Oh. Oh, stupid eyes work after all.
That's right.
Weeks later in Düsseldorf, John Abbott joined us as our independent witness. He's a level-headed Australian writer and researcher now studying law in London. Jenny, in a strange city in a foreign land, led us without hesitation. She was taking us to find her childhood home.
What was that?
That's not it. Can I go to the next one along?
Yeah.
Her father had been a jeweler, and Jenny had been very close to him. And now, in modern Düsseldorf, she nearly ran to re-establish that old and loving tie. She took us almost without hesitation, not to Karlstrasse, the street name she'd used, but to Kirchfeldstrasse.
But the square's not there. It's all changed.
Most surely it had changed. The iron teeth of World War II had bitten deeply into Düsseldorf. When the scars had healed, the body of the city carried a different shape. 2/3 of it had been ravaged and rebuilt. But in Jenny's mind, Dorothy Hellman felt she was where she had lived as a teenager when the terror struck her family.
Yes, yes, that was where the shop was. That's where it was. Should be a square. Down there, the hospital's up there. was just all houses, and this was all cobbled. It was just a narrow street path in there. There were houses, and that went round into a circle.
The circle may once have been there, but nothing else matched. Not even the recollections of an old neighbour who'd lived there for half a century and remembered no Hellmans in that street. The following days saw the search for the hospital of which Jenny had spoken, in trance and on the spot.
Yes.
All right. Which way? From here.
In that way, that direction.
Right.
In there.
Let me get closer.
That's it, that's the park, and the hospital's behind it. It's short on this side, and it goes long down that side. The main part of was on this right-hand face.
A ratty old time.
These were all here, these trees. Yeah, they're all there. This is where the hospital was. The main entrance was just about here. And all these trees were here. This was all park. The main door was about here. And it had a big, big, heavy lintel on the top. And the doorways were round. They went round, but they were all fluted. They weren't straight. And it went in to big doors on the inside.
Her description was detailed, but these were apartment blocks and post-war. She was positive that the hospital was not near a railway line, that there'd been a park there. Had the place been so badly bombed that it was pulled down? We went to a pre-war map of the city to check its position.
And she pointed up this street and said, right, that's where the park is, and the hospital is just behind the park. We came to the end of the street, and of course there wasn't a park, there's a railway underpass there, which was a bit disturbing. We went underneath the railway and along this street here, Faberstrasse, which looks like a much bigger street in this 1937 map. This is where she said the hospital was, in this area here. Big place, big buildings, and a gate here somewhere, lots of fields. Right, so the real problem seems to be that this railway just cuts right through where it oughtn't to be, but it's definitely there in 1937. And about the only thing I could suggest is that what would happen if you took her down into this area, the hospital area, and put her on the ground and see what happens there.
Good idea.
And that's what we did that afternoon. This time we led Jenny to the place where that 1937 map showed there had been a hospital. And there was still hesitation, still some doubt. The big door with the decorated stone lintel didn't seem to be there.
The door wasn't on a corner like that. It was on a... There it is. Was that a door?
Could have been.
The stone was all these blocks. And the doorway had a big, heavy top part to it. And it had the flute bits all down the side.
Right. You weren't too far wrong. There have been some changes. Let's see if you can get anything out of that.
Oh, yes, there. There's the door. That's the main entrance.
Okay.
I didn't believe it was there. I thought it was all wrong.
Not knowing the changes the years had brought, she had described the doorway exactly.
I was quite impressed.
John Abbott had to go back to London, but before he left us, he summed up his impressions.
But in every way that I've seen it, there's no possibility that there could have been any fiddle-faddle. And all I can really say on that area is if there had been fiddle-faddle, we'd have done a bit better than we did. Started off very well. We moved from the hotel we were staying in Pionierstrasse. She led us as if on strings pretty well directly and at great pace to the Kirchfeldstrasse and straight to a house and said, that's the house, that's our house. Well, who knows? When we set off to check all this out, we'd found an 89-year-old lady who lived in the house next door, which was an original house. She'd lived all her life there. Her daughter had been born there, would have been 10 years old at the time that you were there. No memories of you were there, no memories of any of the names and any of the people that you thought that you could detect. And that you were there, no memories of any of the names and any of the people that you thought that you could detect. We went hunting for a hospital, except there wasn't a hospital there. None of that really worked out. Some of the things you said, though, did work out, I thought. Now, the area, the street that you took us to was heavily populated by Jewish families, substantial, middle-class Jewish families. They were all rounded up in 1937 in November and taken away and taken across to the other side of the Rhine to a place called Oberkassel. Now, you did describe Undertrans in Australia being taken away first to what you call the village for Jews. And you called it something like Alstadt or Alstadt. Well, to get out to Oberkassel, you go through Alstadt, which means Old City.
So a deeper step backwards. Across the busyness of the Rhine, we took Jenny back to Oberkassel. She told us under hypnosis how the teenage Dorothy Harmon's father, hearing that the Nazis were coming, had hidden her in a small and totally dark cupboard. It didn't save her. With all the Jews in that street, she was taken away and separated from her family. She managed to escape and hide in a cellar, again in the dark. The fear, the loss, and the darkness brought a strangeness into that young mind, and Jenny, under hypnosis in Dusseldorf, relived again that awful time.
Taken me to a village for Jews. All the buildings are old. It's not a nice place. Everyone looks frightened. This place is evil. Behind the cellar. Did I stay in the cellar? I won't know they're there. They won't know I'm here. Become a shadow. No one sees the shadow. The sun never shines in my cellar, so I'm never there. She's there, but I'm not there. She's not a bad person, but she's crazy.
Who's the other girl you keep telling me?
She's like an animal. But it's all right, it doesn't matter. It's not me. Because I don't exist. I've gone away. They're coming in my cellar. Why do I have to go? They're taking her away. Why do I have to go? I don't exist. I'm not here. I'm just a shadow. I'm her shadow. That's why I have to go. That's what I am. I'm her shadow. I have to go. So I'm her shadow. And they're taking her away.
Who was the other girl in the cellar with you? Is she you?
She can't be me if I'm not there. Because she's there, but I'm not there. I've gone away.
Where have you gone?
Inside of me.
A third experiment, and inconclusive perhaps, except for the details about the hospital, and for the unmistakable horror of a clear-minded woman filled with the emotions of a black and fearful ending to another life, in another place, in another time.